All right, truth hard is hard. And what I mean by that is, I've heard the saying, we can do hard things. And at one point in time, one of my accountability partners said, how about reframing that and saying, we make hard things look easy? What would that feel like? So I've been talking with different agents and other women entrepreneurs that I have been coaching over this last week or two. And it comes up over and over again. And I know I come on and here and I talk so much about things that come up over and over and over again. But the truth is, a lot of what's holding us back is the same thing it was yesterday, is the same thing it was last week, last year, and probably for years. So when does it stop? When do we really interrupt those behaviors? And when do we really start living the life that we truly desire and stop settling for what we have today? It all starts with the decision. And I'm not just saying a decision like, okay, yep, I've decided. You have got to make the irrevocable, committed decision that enough is enough. And sometimes you just have to get either pissed off enough or you have to get to a point in your life where maybe your back's against the wall. I know that happened with one of my mentors, Araj Vasuki. He for 3 years played small until his back was so against the wall, enough was enough for him. And he made the decision and hasn't looked back in over 17, 18 years. So what is it going to take for you to get out of your comfort zone, get uncomfortable, and do the hard things? I had a client, an agent that I was coaching earlier this week, and my clients are very honest. Obviously, that's part of our relationship. They have to tell me exactly what's going on so I can help them get from where they are to where they want to be. But she said, I feel bad. I just didn't do it. I consciously made the decision that I was not going to do my prospecting, and so I didn't, and I feel bad about it. And I said, well, you know, so what now what? Like, you can't go back and change what you did or didn't do. So if it's not how you chose to show up, is not how you want to, then what are you going to do different today? And thinking about that and diving into that a little bit more, like, what is your time on task of how much throughout the day? Let's say you have 24 hours, sleep 8 of them, you're with family for another couple of them, maybe you have a workout class or you do something. So let's even say that you give 5 to 6, maybe 7 solid hours of work, which are they really solid? I'm going to guess not. Let's say 5 hours. Let's say 4 hours. I don't care. You pick the number. But of those hours where you're working or you're out there grinding or doing what it is you need to do in order to provide, to take care of your clients, to grow your business, how much of that is truly uncomfortable? Or how much of it is hard? Or how much of it is really encouraging you to grow? Because growth happens in the uncomfortableness. You see, I have a lot of entrepreneurs that I work with and that are listening. And I can promise you, if you are not doing 1% better than you were yesterday, and if you are not pushing yourself and doing at least one uncomfortable thing a day, you're not growing and you're not going to get from where you are to where you want to be. Because I will say it once more, and I will say it again and again and again. How much of yourself you have to leave behind to become the best version of yourself in that future version that is already achieved what it is you truly desire. How can you come from that end goal? Or how can you come from the desire and your goal already achieved? You see what happens, and what happened with my one of my coaching clients was that she had her old habitual behaviors come up. She had her paradigms come up, just saying, no, I'm not going to do it today or maybe later and just put it off and procrastinate. And I think we can all agree that that's not going to get you from where you are to where you want to be. So don't feel bad about it, just do better. So I challenged her and I said, okay, so next time that voice comes up and you think about it, what can you do differently? And let's just say you don't go all in. And if she wants to make 10 calls a day, let's say you make one instead of zero. You don't do all 10, but you do something because you have to stop listening to that voice. You have to start interrupting and breaking that cycle because that is how you'll be on the path to breaking these habitual behaviors and voices and things that keep coming into your mind. I remember when I was in my early 20s, there was this girl that I hung out with back when we all lived in Loring Park, and she had quit smoking. And if anyone's ever smoked, it can be a really hard habit to break. And at that time, I had been smoking for a while. So she broke the habit of smoking cigarettes. And I said, "How did you do it?" I mean, it's like you think you break them on New Year's and then you're taping them back up a couple hours later. Did that once or twice. So how did you do it? And she said something back then that almost 30 years later still rings true. She said, my dad taught me this because he did the same thing. She said, and this can go for anything in your life, any bad habit that you're trying to break or something that you're trying to change. She said, I just said maybe tomorrow. And I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, when that urge comes up or that voice comes in my head, or I just think I can't live without it, or I want to do it more than anything, I say, okay, if I can get through today, then maybe tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll revisit and I'll do it tomorrow. And she gets through the day. And then the next day comes and you look back because, again, you can connect the dots looking backwards, not looking forward. She looks back and she's like, oh, well, I got through the day. I'm still alive. It's all good. And it's a little bit better today than it was yesterday. So, once again, maybe tomorrow. Put a pin in it, stick it over there. I'll come back to you tomorrow. But for today, this is what I'm doing. And that is what I mean by a decision. You make the decision and then you set the standard. You create the disciplines. You adjust your self image and you check your attitude. And by doing those things, you can really put into practice and put into play whatever it is you need to do in order to get from where you are to where you want to be. And looking at your time on task, you know, really look at the hours you're spending in a day, especially if you are not clocked in, punched in on a 9 to 5 job. If you are, I encourage you as well to look at how you're spending your time and how you could be more productive. But again, I deal with a lot of entrepreneurs. So looking at your day, how much of it is spent time on task? Are you putting your phone in airplane mode? Are you shutting down all social media? Are you just having up the one thing you need in front of you on your screen to get what you need done? Or are you distracted all day long? Are you ping ponging from text to email to hold on to switching the laundry to doing whatever to running around? Think about it. And you can do the sprints. You can do the 30, 60, 90 sprints and take breaks in between those and switch the laundry, check the email, return phone calls, return text messages. But what would it look like if you actually spent 30, maybe 60 minutes on one thing and one thing only, knowing that nothing's going to implode or start on fire? It'll all be there waiting for you in 30 to 60 minutes. Can you do it? A lot of people, it's a struggle. So start with 15 minutes, then go to 20, then go to 30, graduate yourself up. But by taking and focusing all of your time and energy into one thing, you will get done in one workday, more than most people will get done in a week, maybe even a month, depending who you're talking to. So think about that and what that would look like for you. And another thing that actually recently just came up for me personally, actually, I kind of got away from this. I'll be honest, is our daily goals. Like what are your daily goals? Do you have a goal every day that you want to achieve? I mean, hell, waking up, that's a beautiful thing in itself. Not everyone does. So, when you get up out of bed, how are you waking up? What is your attitude? Are you going right to gratitude? Are you going to everything that's wrong or what happened yesterday or feeling bad or reliving the past over and over and over again, which will just create more of the same? I encourage you to pick a daily goal every day and just whatever you need to do to meet it, whatever you need to do to meet and exceed it. But have a daily goal and have something, still have your big goals, obviously. But what 1% or what thing or things, it can be 3 to 5 things, are you going to do today to get from where you are to where you want to be? And focus on a daily goal. What is your goal? Is it to reach out to 20 prospects that don't know who you are? Is it to book 2 more clients or get 2 more opportunities for your business? Is it to, you know, invest? Invest in yourself, invest in your team. Is it to look at opportunities, door knock, cold call? Who is, I always like to say, is you are potentially, truly one conversation away from getting everything you desire. Like one conversation, there's one person out there that you haven't met yet, or doesn't know you, or whose phone number's not in your phone that could change everything for you. So, the more conversations you have, the more you ask good questions, the more you answer questions being very intentional with people that you come into conversation with every day. It could be the difference between a huge breakthrough, quantum leap. It's just getting out there and doing it. And it's so, so important. So I encourage you to think about that. Um, and think about how you're spending your free time. I've been doing that a lot. I was actually in a training earlier today, and it was a new company that works with realtors, and they had talked about how they had all these commercials and things, and I honestly didn't know the company because I don't watch much TV. Now I'll binge every once in a while on Netflix, absolutely. But as far as just sitting and watching TV aimlessly every night, I really don't do it. And it got me thinking there. I'm like, wow, I really don't watch a lot of TV because I don't know this company. I don't know these commercials. So it's training and I'll meet the right people that I need to. Uh, but it's because I'm listening to YouTube videos. It's because I'm watching other coaches that are where I intend to be, what they're doing, what they're teaching. I'm hiring my own coaches and learning from them. Getting into the rooms without physically being into the rooms, but getting into the energy and into the space of these people who are doing what I'm going to do. So it's raising my vibration to that frequency. It's surrounding myself with. And once again, we are in the best time in history. You don't need all the money in the world to get in those $50,000, $100,000, $300,000, $1 million mastermind groups. Eventually, yes, those are the rooms to be in. And for now, if you don't have 50,000, 500,000, a million to spend on a group for 1 year membership that meets once a month, that will get you from where you are to where you want to go. Talk about quantum leaps. You can get around those people through social media, through YouTube, through trainings they offer, because the truth is the top 1 to 3% got there by helping others succeed. So they are all about giving and they're all about helping to a very huge extent. I mean, obviously, yes, you need to put your money where your mouth is if you want to play up there in that playground. So how do you get there? Start being intentional with your time. Start being intentional with your environment. Start being intentional with who you surround yourself with, how they speak, who they know. Are they C's? Are they B minuses? Are they F's and they have all the time in the world? Are you getting around the B's and the A's and around their B and A friends and colleagues and people they know, like, and trust? And if you can't physically do it, you have no excuse. There are so many opportunities and options out there for you to do this and to start manifesting and to start visualizing and to start feeling and raising your vibration to a different frequency over and over and over again so that the subconscious needs to kick out those old paradigms that keep you stuck and replace them with what will help you get there, and it's all through repetition. So a lot of people will do it through it for a day or two. Great. A day or two. And then they go back and they revert back to the old way. Intentionality. I'm telling you, I had another agent that I coached this month. She's like, I just keep hearing your voice in my head when things come up and I'm witnessing things happen or I'm in conversations and I've just become so aware. And that's why this podcast is called Awareness. Once you know, you can't unknow. It's truly a gift you give to yourself because the more you're aware, the more you hear things differently, you'll see things differently, you'll feel differently about circumstances, about people, about conversations. You'll repel the things that once you were a big part of, once felt like home to you. That conversation, those friends, the gossiping, all the things that we do or have done in the past. Once you really understand yourself and understand and are aware of all of this information, you will elevate and you will look at things from a different perspective and a different awareness, and you will repel. It will feel icky. It will feel bad. It will feel not right. It will feel like your standard is different than it once was, and you don't drop your standard. So again, you don't go as often and you don't stay as long. Some people will just straight out walk away from toxic people and situations because your energy is so, so important and how you protect it and who you give it to. And so many times, I know in my past, I just gave it away. I would, let other people shine and I would stay back. And, it was a whole worthiness thing, maybe a little bit of self confidence, self image, all of it. But once I understood this and I made decisions, I set the disciplines, the standard, worked on my self image and my attitude, and starting with gratitude and attitude of gratitude, always start there. It changes, you change. And that's a good thing. It's we're meant for expansion. And I run into these people. I'm 47 and I just saw posts like we're 29 years out of high school now, almost 30 years. And you have these people that you see from high school and they're like, wow, you've changed, almost like it's a bad thing. And it's like, "Oh, thanks. I sure hope so." Because if you knew me back in high school or even right after, I was a lot of a hot mess, as many teenagers are trying to figure it out, or young adults. And I was probably an exceptional hot mess, if I'm being honest. So, yeah, thank you. Huge compliment. Because if you look back, and there are people that are the same, are very close to the same as they were in high school. You got to look a little bit deeper because there's something going on there, because we are made in God's perfect image and we are made and meant for expansion. If you're not expanding and contracting, you're going backwards and dying. So if you are different, which I really hope you are, and if people are saying it and they're trying to be snide, because what people try to do is pull you back, pull you down, the people that love you the most sometimes your family members, people that they only want you to succeed to a certain extent. And if you go further than that, then it's just a constant reminder of what they're not doing and what they're not willing to put on the line and how they're not willing to change and they want to stay in their comfortable little box. So they try to pull you back down with them. So that is why, one of the many reasons why this information is so valuable and so important, and that's why having the right coach or the right mentor is so valuable and so important, because without the constant reminder and the constant repetition of this, you will go back. I mean, Bob Proctor, my first coach and mentor, he said he fought this until the day he left this earth. Before he did pass away, he said, "I will fight this and every day until the day I leave this earth and go into my spiritual form." And it's true because that is how we're wired. And all of the environment, all of the noise, and all of the people around us, uh, you will not be thinking, and they will be thinking for you. And you will just be going along. You'll be autopilot, auto mode, and just going along aimlessly unless you have intentionality, you have awareness, you shift your perspective, you shift your perception, and you see it differently. And until then, you are just probably going to be be part of, be a product of your circumstances. You know, if you don't like your circumstances, change them, create new ones. Do not be, oh, the economy, oh, the government, oh, I'm a victim, oh, this is wrong, that's wrong, this wrong. How about don't focus on what's wrong, focus on what it is you want and go out and build it and create the circumstances yourself. That is how you get to the 1 to 3%, the top 1 to 3%. Anyone up there, watch any of their videos, watch any of their trainings. The honest ones will tell you it's not hard to get there. You just have to do the work. You have to be consistent. You just have to go through that terror barrier where most people will hit it and they'll bounce back to safety and to comfort. You just got to do the uncomfortable things and you can have whatever it is you want. It's just 90 to 95% of the people out there aren't willing to be uncomfortable, aren't willing to be uncomfortable long enough for how long it takes to get through that barrier. Once I would have never thought I had a podcast. I would never have spoke in front of people. I'm doing the uncomfortable things and growing every day. Am I anywhere near where I intend to be? Absolutely not. And I've had people be like, "I can't believe you're still consistently doing this. Is it showing any fruits of your labor?" And I said, "Not yet." I know people that did podcasts for 4 years straight every week before anything ever happened. So how long are you willing to do it? Until however long it takes. That's the answer. And if that's not the answer for you, then you'll probably stay where you are for a very long time, if not for the rest of your life. And your business will stay the same. Your personal life will stay the same. You'll stay the same. And that's okay too, if that's what you want. But if you want to be part of the 1 to 3 to 5 top percent, it's not hard. It's just the work. And you have to do the work that 90 to 95% of the people aren't willing to do. That's it. So I hope this helped, is motivational. That's my goal, is to get on here and to just give you something to think about and take one thing away. And if you take one thing away, it's the 1% better every day. What daily goal can you set for yourself? How can you get uncomfortable at least once a day, knowing that, you know what, you'll still be here tomorrow. And whatever you did that was uncomfortable, it will probably already have been forgotten. So start doing it. And if you need help, if you need push, because I can motivate you, discipline's what will keep you going, but I'm absolutely happy to motivate you. Let me know. I'm happy to connect and get you started and get you going on the right path. Until next time, make it a good one.